Good morning, Texoma. I'm Ashley FITZWATER. We hear a lot about nonprofits and all they do for our community. Today, we're taking a look at the Nonprofit Center. They're the ones who help build those nonprofits so they can continue to serve and help so many people. Joining me now to talk about more is Stuart Harvey. He is the Executive Director, and Marla Malone. She is the Director of Operations. Thank you both for being here today. And, you know, I have to say, it's just exciting to know about a group here in town that really uplifts nonprofits. You know, you are the heroes of the heroes. So pretty cool. Can you tell us a little bit more about what it is the nonprofit really does?
You know, thanks for that intro, Ashley. And I like for folks to think of us as the people who work behind the scenes. And I think our tagline really ties that all together. Strong nonprofits build strong communities. We build strong nonprofits. So it's not like that it's easy to wrap some words around what that looks like, because what we do is a little bit more amorphous. You know, we don't actually go feed the children that need feeding. We don't protect the animals that need protecting, but we do make stronger and upbuild the groups that make that happen. So for us, our success story is our nonprofit's success story.
It's interesting to note that I've heard over and over, it seems these nonprofits are businesses in a sense. You know, they're still a nonprofit, but they run like a business and they need that guidance, right?
Absolutely they do. Just because we're a nonprofit doesn't exempt us from good business practice. When we're given money, we have to be good stewards of that. We have to caretake that for now and for the future. Let's take an example for a board, the board of the directors. That's the leadership group of the nonprofit. Those are the folks that are supposed to be the most educated, the most informed, and have the best idea of what that vision is going to look like in the future. They can't do that in a vacuum. They need education, they need training. And honestly, we can't hold them accountable if we don't give them that education and training. It's really not a fair thing to do. That's where we come into play. We offer all these kinds of seminars, webinars. Some of them are national, some of them are local, but we have a wide array and variety of programs for governance, for staff functionality, marketing, you know, fundraising, capital campaigns, strategic planning, whatever that looks like. But at the end of the day, we like to think of ourselves as good servant leaders in the community.
Well, I definitely have to agree you are. And Marla, you know, some of those people have heard of. They've heard of you guys and really what you do. They just maybe haven't connected it all. So can you help us connect all of that and some of those programs that are out there?
Yes. Some of the biggest programs that we have in Wichita Falls are put on by the Nonprofit Center. One of our favorite things to do every year in October is Teens Make a Difference Day. And that's huge. We have about 2,500 volunteers on one day in 4 hours. And it is amazing to see these kids become a new generation of givers and volunteers. We're also behind the Conference for Women. We do that every April. We have about 500 women who attend that, and there's breakout sessions throughout the day. We normally bring in a nationally known speaker, and it's really an upbuilding day for women, and it's enjoyed by all, and there's shopping and lots of stuff to do. We have a customer service program every year. There's just so many things that we do that, you know, are behind the scenes, like Stuart was saying, that people don't realize, oh, that's the Nonprofit Center who does that. You know, they know the event, but they may not know the people behind it, and it's us.
Today, you know, we just really wanted to showcase a little bit about what the Nonprofit Center does for just countless organizations and nonprofits across our community. And I know it's a partnership, and if you can just kind of tell us a little bit about the history and how this center really got started and became what it is today.
You know, it's a wonderful story. In 1982, there was a group of people in the community that said nonprofits aren't getting educated, and there's nowhere for them to go. So they set about to create a solution. So Midwestern State University, the United Way, the Zale Foundation, Carol Wagner. Carol was our first executive director. There were a lot of creative people that got together and said, we want to start this going. So we've had several iterations as we've gone down the road. We received our own 501c3 status in 2001, and at that point we became our own nonprofit. And so today we are educating those. At the same time, we're also learning. It's a learning process. Nobody's exempt from that. So it's a great journey.
Just in the role that you're both in, how important do you think that this center is and what it does every single day and really the difference it's making?
Well, I think we make a huge impact to the community. You know, before I came to the center several years ago, I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't, I was aware of nonprofits. I had volunteered and helped things, but I didn't think of how those nonprofits became and how they functioned every day, and how they met their financial needs and that type of thing. So it kind of opened my eyes to see how important we are to the boards that steward and strategize for these nonprofits that are so needed in this community. So I think the impact that we can make on the boards and board of directors and the governance issues that they may have, and helping them with best practices, can only make such a huge impact for that organization to continue in the future.
We fulfill our mission by helping them fulfill theirs. And at the end of the day, I want to think that we're proactive, but if worse comes to worse, we're the nonprofit 911.
That's a great point. And we have actually so many people who want to share their stories, and they're actually incredible stories of the difference, that 911 call, that training that you're talking about. So we're going to hear from them, but we need to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Much more is coming up on Inside Texoma.
I'm Jackie HAMM. I'm the Executive Director of The Kitchen, which is formerly Senior Citizen Services of North Texas. We deliver Meals on Wheels and have congregate centers, and we also do a kids meal program. And the nonprofit center here in Wichita Falls is a valuable asset for our organization. They have a library. Stuart has done board trainings for us. We are able to go to them for information. They have all the things that we need. As a nonprofit, of course, we're on a limited budget. We're not able to have the full-scale library that we need. We're not able to have grant software to be able to research for grants, and the Nonprofit Center is able to provide us with all of these necessities we have to complete our mission for the citizens of Wichita Falls. They're available phone call day in, day out. I call them all the time for information, for guidance, for training, for sometimes just to bounce ideas off of them. If the Nonprofit Center were not here in Wichita Falls, it would be very difficult on the nonprofits here locally to be able to get the information we need to operate and to run our mission, to be able to get our funding, to be able to train our boards the necessary way. We were able to have a board retreat for our board members, and Stuart came over and he did a 3 to 4 hour training session. We talked about fundraising, we talked about good board governance, we talked about recruiting board members, we talked about all the different functions of a board member to have a healthy board and to make us successful for our mission.
My name is JOHNELLE DONNELL, and I got involved in jail ministry in 2007, and as a result of that became aware that there were a very large number of homeless women living on the streets of Wichita Falls. And I started getting the word out to people in the community that we needed to help these women. We needed a place for them to go to get the support that they needed to have a better life. And so a group came together and we began to raise the funds to build what is now Faith Refuge. And we decided to partner with the people at Faith Mission in order to get this accomplished. So there were a lot of logistics that had to be addressed as to what is the proper way to set up a capital campaign, and how do you interact with a board that is already in place in a healthy way, and how do you network with people in the community and with the staff of Faith Mission. How do you do everything in the best way possible so that you don't run into snags? I became aware that the greatest resource in the community for this was Stuart Harvey and the Nonprofit Center. And Stuart was always on my speed dial. I was asking him questions about everything imaginable. I didn't know what healthy looked like. I didn't know what unhealthy looked like. I just knew that we had challenges. And so I would go to him. We would have groups of just a few of us or several of us. He is on a mission to have every board of a nonprofit healthy, and that's what he has helped us with. If the Nonprofit Center were not here in Wichita Falls, I would have had no one to go to get expert advice. I would have a lot of friends who would have opinions, but their opinions might differ, and so I would have to decide on my own what is the best course to take. But the Nonprofit Center has given me professional advice in every instance, and in every instance it has been very rewarding to work with them, and it has been a blessing to this community to have them here.
Jean Payne with Interfaith Ministries. I'm the Executive Director. I've been at Interfaith Ministries since 1982, and I've been with involved with the Nonprofit Center since the 90s. Shortly after they formed, I was asked to be on the Board of Directors, and I served for probably about 6 years on the Board of Directors, and then have been associated as a member organization since that time. The center has provided invaluable resources not only to Interfaith Ministries in shaping our organization to be a strong and a very solid organization in this community, but it's also helped me to grow in my ability to be a good leader, I hope, and to learn what the best practices are, learn different techniques and tools to use in helping my board grow and in helping the organization grow. And so, every time that there's a seminar or a resource coming up, I always look at it eagerly, because over the years there have been very many areas in which we have grown and matured as a board because of the resources from the Nonprofit Center. Well, what the center provides is a very affordable resource, and that's also a very important aspect of what they do provide in the community, because without the Nonprofit Center here in Wichita Falls, the closest place to find anything like that would be Dallas-Fort Worth area, and the time factor and the money involved to make trips to go to seminars would probably be prohibitive for many nonprofits, including ours. And so to have a very affordable and very professional, we have lots of local talent, but the center also brings in resources and speakers and trainers from all over the country that are top-notch in their field.